Okay. Greetings, everyone. Today is February 2nd, 2026. This is Clinton Mike, the chair of Committee Board 12. Today we are having our executive committee meeting, and we're starting at 7:11 p.m. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. So, on our agenda for today, we're going to start with committee structure. Now, by committee structure, I'm talking about the number of committees that we have presently and the naming of the committees that we have. Right now, the committees are Committee 1, Committee 2, and Committee 3. Those committees need to be named soon.
They're not named,
Committee 1, Committee 2, and Committee 3.
but underneath it, this stuff. Don't you list committees? Yeah.
They need a name, like a municipal services committee. They need a name, one name, not 12 names. One name.
Spoke about
Hmm?
that. We spoke about that.
Yeah.
I recognize.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
What is the thought process among having these co-chairs under the, or should there just be one chairman of each of these master
That's
committees?
part of my agenda.
Okay, yeah, that's.
There should be one chair and one co-chair.
I think that makes sense. Okay.
No, I agree. Is that we already have it here. It may not mirror exactly what George was suggesting. When I first got here, I think that was like 24. But it more or less is the same. All these committees are grouped in such a way in which they complement. In terms of numbers, we're already looking at 15 members to each committee. So it really doesn't even come down to really the structure. It's like we do need to give an official name so that when people, even when we send out emails or anything else, we go like, what is committee 1? And then we do have to do the hash of like, this is actually land use and such and such and such and such. But if we gave it a name, like sort of like an umbrella term.
Like I said, as an example, municipal services.
Right.
Right.
For like committee 1.
Right.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily committee 1. I'm saying, I'm just giving an example. A municipal services committee. That's the name. And then all those committees fall under the umbrella of that, right?
Well, committee 1, maybe community planning,
Okay.
because that would incorporate transportation, that incorporates land use.
Well, we have to come up with names for them. That one can agree on. Community planning, that's one. Anybody else have any suggestions
What's under?
for that?
Okay,
one
so
particular
I'm not in the committee, so committee 1, what?
Committee 1 is land use, as well as DOT, and
So municipality sounds good, or, we'll figure it out.
12.
Yeah, the municipality.
Okay, so committee 1 is land use, housing, economic development, and business services, transportation and capital.
Municipality sounds good.
Right, that's committee 1. Committee 2 is public safety, parks and recreation, and environmental concerns.
Or maybe that should be municipality.
I
And
did
then-
that,
and
yeah.
then- Yeah, and then community planning for
One.
for one.
1
Municipal services.
or 2. All right, and committee 3, which would be education, libraries, and remember there's also a subcommittee in committee 3 for our media. So how do you want to go about that?
Well, I mean, the media can go along. Library and cultural affairs.
Yes, under
Yeah.
cultural rights, under
Yeah,
Cultural affairs is good.
right.
Nice,
So
Education
committee,
and culture.
Education and cultural affairs, that sounds good.
nice.
health and human services would be cultural affairs.
No,
Health and
because we
human
have
services.
health, and health.
Right.
center.
I mean, we don't have to come with it upward right now, but
Well, it'd be nice if we can go to the meeting at the end of the month and get this done. Because then we're talking about March.
so health and human services, education and youth services, library and cultural affairs services, library and cultural affairs. And I guess social media would go into that too.
Right.
Human resources.
Right, so education and human resources, or education and health services, education and health resources, all these are good. What we could do is create a survey, so that way when we're entering before the meeting, everyone on CB12 can take their own vote on it, so that way we know which way people are thinking. And they can also write in their own stuff.
That's good. I like that. Like that?
I don't know.
Make a survey. Make a survey.
All right, about the naming of the committee. So we put in our suggestions, and then we'll also leave a tab where people can write in their suggestion for each committee name.
I'm sorry, I'm old school. Sorry.
I think that's a good idea. I think, but somebody at the next meeting should make a motion
To vote on it.
to like, I have picked out community one, well, number one is gonna be this, number two is gonna be this, number three is gonna be this, and then let the whole board vote on it, yes or no. Like, there should be one recommendation, because what we don't want is, right, that people throwing names up in the air at the meeting, we'll be there all night.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, we make the survey before,
Yeah,
because when's our next meeting?
You got a few weeks, I think, a couple weeks.
Today. What's the next one? The 26th?
Yeah.
26th. Thursday's the 5th, the 26th.
And in the same motion, whoever makes this motion, it should be discussed. We're gonna change for one chairman to be
One
selected,
chairman.
one chairman,
One chair
for all three committees.
I was one person and one of all three committees.
Well, no,
One chair and one co-chair for per committee. Yes.
per committee.
Oh, I thought you meant
No,
one.
well, because right now we have multiple co-chairs. We're talking about moving it to just one. You don't agree with that?
I was just explaining, I'm still stuck on the fact that I haven't seen a board yet that has under 6 committees on it. So I'm stuck in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true.
When you look at every, I mean, I sat, you know, me, I have nothing to do.
Well, in my notes, I put no more than 5.
We can do more committee.
That's what I put no more than 5.
You know, the other side of that is if there was a social media committee with just 2 or 3 people working on social media, I guarantee they wouldn't have a quorum problem. Because they're all engaged, they know each other, they work together well, they'd be coming in, and we wouldn't be able to like, oh, okay, let's call so-and-so. I mean, they're all friendly, and they would get it, they'd get the job done.
And absences and us not meeting quorums is a big part of the reason why we have to consolidate this. Because committees are not meeting in quorum. That's a
Well,
problem.
what's the major crux of it? Is it health issues, like today, where we have 3 members that are literally out?
But we're always begging people to show up.
No, I think at the beginning of this year, it was clear to me that some of the new people didn't understand that they had to be here in person.
No, can I say something?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I call everybody,
Yeah.
right? I call everybody and say, you have a meeting this night, da, 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 ahead of time. And then sometimes people that I know that are not showing up, I've called and said, don't forget, you have a meeting tonight.
Right. And what have been the response? You find them to be responsive or not?
They've been responsive,
Everyone
but
shows
I'm just
up for
saying,
us.
I'm saying that to say, it's
Okay.
not like,
Not everybody.
right? It's not everybody, because I call people to make sure, you know, that they're coming.
And that's fine, and I appreciate that too. But at the same time, they signed up for this,
I know.
and I always told the last chair that. I said, I'm not calling people every day because I'm not babysitting them. They signed up to be on the community board, and you have to be here. You have to be here for meetings. You have to know when your meetings are. You have to tell you when if you're on committee 2 that your meeting is this day. Nobody should have to tell you that. You should know that automatically. You shouldn't have to wait for us to send out an email. You should know that.
Clinton, you can remove someone from a committee.
Oh, I know that.
You don't. We don't need a vote. We don't need a vote. We need a vote to remove a member, but
From the board.
from the board, but not from a committee. Maybe from a committee.
I mean, but I just got here, so
Yeah.
I'm
You're not trying to.
I got no, it's not that. Nothing I'm not trying, but I have to see who's doing what and who's not doing what they're supposed to do. I have to see that first. I mean, but I know for a fact that a lot of times, maybe not your committee, but they don't have quorum at committees. And if there's, how many people in this committee?
It's
You have
15 in
people
each.
in a committee. I mean, there's no reason why 8 of them can't show up.
It's not like 10.
Okay, but
I'm just saying, so I'm just saying.
there's no reason why 8 people can't make it.
No, there is.
And if they do have legitimate excuses, then they have to call and let somebody know that, or put it in writing and let somebody know that they can't make it. So you have anything
And
else?
and it's like funny because when I'm calling people and I'm saying, and they're saying, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be," I said, "You got to call, so share, make sure you call everybody."
I got 3 text messages today, and I was very happy with that. If you have a problem and you can't make it, I'll have no problem with that. But if you don't have a problem and you're just not showing up, I have a problem with that.
But that's why I think we need to make that key distinction made and look at like the actual attendance of people and if they did bring in valid excuses. Like when it comes to the open law meetings, the rules literally state that there are several reasons of why a person may not attend in person. You don't necessarily need to have like documentation. It could be something as simple as not having childcare, right? And the rules still apply, like the same way we did the general meeting with persons online, as long as they're online for the majority of the time. If not, only when you are able to vote, that's still valid and they're still counted.
Right.
Right. So we exclude those people and key in on the people that are just belligerently absent. Then that's where I have to agree with Bobby, and that's where I have to agree with Clinton, where they should just be removed. If you've been on the board for at least 2 years and you've managed to only show up here less than 50% of the time, if it's not something medical related, or if you're not like a caregiver for somebody else, there's not an extenuating circumstance where the moon aligns in such a way that you can't be with us on this Thursday. You know, that makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry. That makes sense if there's extenuating circumstances where a board member cannot be present. But I am full gun ho with Clinton and everyone else here that if you're going to be a part of the community board, you need to actually be a part of the community board. Whether that's showing up virtually or breathing our air for 2 hours over here, you need to be actually present for these meetings. And saying, "Oh, I didn't know," is not an acceptable answer when there's a phone to this building, there's several emails to everyone else. Ms. Tallene does call on behalf of everybody for every meeting, so there's no excuse for anyone saying, "I didn't know." There are too many vessels for you to be able to figure that out.
No, because there's a few people that I know. There are a few people that I know that normally say, "Oh," and so those are the people that double
that.
right.
Okay, so and that attendance thing, we're talking about committees right now, but it's an issue with the board period in terms of general board meeting, committee meeting. I mean, I just hate that we have to sit here sometimes on pins and needles waiting to see if we're going to have quorum, especially for the general board. We're like this. Everybody's looking at the door like this. You know, oh, okay, we finally got it.
But I do it the general board too.
I know you do. I know you do. And like I said, I appreciate it.
Especially saying like, you know, yo, we got to vote, this vote, we got to be there early.
Right. So does anybody have anything else on committee structure?
Yeah.
But I just want to reemphasize that I think somebody.
Hold on, George.
So I just think we need to make sure someone on here today is going to make a motion at the general board meeting that kind of summarizes what we're all talking about. And I would defer to anybody here to make that motion because I think we're all pretty much on the same page here. But I think there has to be a motion that lays us all out at the board meeting so we can move this process along.
Could we keep it short and sweet where we're saying the REITs, just simple renaming of the
Right.
committees?
Committee 1, 2, 3, if we want a 4th or a 5th, you know, Colleen, I think that those are, that's fine with me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But, and then part of that motion should be that there'll be one chair and you know,
And one coach.
and one co-chair.
George, does that have to be changed in the bylaws?
Yep, that's what I was going to say. the committee structure, the problem that we had, or that you guys have, is that we voted for a committee structure which had outlined 4 committees. And then this compromise of what we have now is very confusing because you don't really have 3 committees. You don't have standing committee 1, you don't have standing committee 2, or standing committee 3. What you have is a consolidation of dates. And what happens with that is that you still have, according to our bylaws, 12 different committees. So you have an executive committee, you have a libraries committee, you have a transportation committee, you have a health and human services committee. If your aim is to reduce the number of committees, then you have to reduce the number of committees, which means you have to take the 13 committees and chop them down to whatever number you want. The reason for the names that I gave it initially, municipal services, would suggest that anything that touches municipal services, sanitation, police, fire department, whatever, anything that has to do with a city agency, flooding, DEP, health and human services, hospitals, education, all comes before municipal services committee. That one committee handles all municipal services with the exception of the planning committee, which would hear all housing, zoning, ULURP applications, transportation infrastructure projects, and economic development, only because you are planning stuff there. So anything that's separate and apart from the municipal services would go there. So again, any changes you make, now you talked about having board members on committees, not on committees. It is in our bylaws that every board member has to serve on a committee. So you cannot exclude anybody from serving on a committee just because they don't show up. So everybody has to serve on 2. They have to be on the full board and they have to be on a committee, according to our bylaws. So again, any changes you make have to be made here. And any changes to the bylaws has to be floated at a committee, then weighted, and then voted on at the next meeting.
Wait, George, let me interrupt you. Why would a change to the bylaws have to be voted out of committee? Why can't we move at a general board meeting and have the board vote, for example, that a member does not necessarily have to serve on a committee? Why can't we change that rule by a vote of the general board, assuming at the next general board meeting we have a quorum?
So according to our bylaws, Article number 9, amendment, first sentence, section 1, any member of the board may propose an amendment to these bylaws. A proposed amendment shall be submitted in writing to the chairperson, who shall present it at the next meeting of the board, but no vote shall be taken at the meeting. The proposed amendment shall then be placed on the agenda for the following meeting of the board and shall become an amendment to these bylaws upon its approval by a majority of the appointed members of the board present and voting.
George, what about section 4 of the bylaws, which is basically leading to what Bobby's speaking about, which is that the board can basically vote members out as well as the borough president's office.
Say that again, section 4, hearings and meetings?
Yep, in the bylaws. So after the articles, I believe what page? 3?
Which section?
Section 4. An appointed member may be removed for cause by the borough president or by a majority of appointed members of the board. Clause shall include but not be limited to 3 unexcused absences from general board meetings and or 3 unexcused absences from committee meetings within a period of 1 year. So I was being gracious and saying 2 years, but it really is 1 year with 3 of these, 3 unexcused absences or 3 unexcused absences.
Which section 4, which article are you in?
Right, I'm in section 4.
Page before. I think it's Article 1.
Yeah, Because nope, sorry, it's Article 3, right underneath members,
Okay, so Article 3.
right? Section.
Yeah, okay, so any appointed member may be removed by cause for the borough president or by a majority. Okay, so what's the question?
No, it was just basically that what Bobby is saying, that yes, we can, as community board members, vote other members out. I don't believe it's anyone's belief currently that we want to vote members out. We want to actually get an understanding of who is just blatantly absent, who's just not here, period. Not people that have, valid excuses, but people that aren't here, period.
Well, so I'm a little confused. I'm going to try and answer your question though. If you're referring to section 4, and you have to hop, and you're talking about dismissing a board member from the board, you have to then hop down to section 6, right below it, where a board shall not remove a member except in accordance with the following procedures, which are enumerated A through E. So you have to follow that. So if you want to remove a board member, that's fine. It has to be for cause, and you have to follow the procedures that are enumerated there.
Right, George, we get that. What I'm saying is, would you happen to have a list of attendance so we could get an understanding of who's been here for the last year?
Yeah, we have attendance.
And we can maybe, give the new people some slack. It's like, I'll give people the benefit of doubt. Maybe you thought hybrid meant that you didn't necessarily need to be in person or need to be that. Now you know. The bottom line is that now they know.
That's what was said when I was calling.
George, you have the 2022, the draft, April 2022?
Yeah, but you can pull it up on it's on the website if you want to pull it up.
It's on the community board's website as well as the borough president's website. But if you also just type in community board 12 bylaws, it pretty much pops up in like the first 3 searches.
Okay. Yeah, George, I agree with what you're saying about amendments, though. I'm looking at Article 9, and it says, so essentially at this board meeting, at the upcoming board week meeting for February, we can make a proposal to change the committees. Then everybody is on notice what we're trying to do. Someone should bring a motion. Then that motion will be carried to the March meeting, and then we'll vote on it in March. That's your understanding? Okay, yes. I agree. That's what it says. So, but that means that's further reason why somebody here today needs to make an application at this board meeting in February, and it needs to be on the agenda for the February board meeting so that we can vote on it in March.
Would it be possible, and I want to just apologize to everyone that I'm late. I think one thing that would be helpful with these transitions also is to clarify who's on what committee, and just make sure that when reiterating that sometimes with the new members or with the combined committees, we might be too aware. But for this type of approval of bylaws change, would it be possible? I think one thing that can help clarify a lot of these procedural things is if we have a draft of like a red line version of what we want the changes in the bylaws to be before we vote on it, so that we're all under the same impression that here are the changes that we're talking about making before we vote on it, so that people are okay. I don't know. No way. Yeah.
Can't see. I think that's a good idea. I think a red line of the bylaws, it's going to be circulated by Ursula in advance of the meeting so that everyone can look at it. And then it's, again, talked about at the meeting and then voted out on March. I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay.
We can see him?
They moved the camera.
Okay.
Oh, there.
Should we bring Luke up to speed real quick? It'll only take 5 minutes. All right, so basically, we're just going over the structure that we have, not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
We're just literally just giving these cookies and names. So the suggestions made so far was to turn community one into community planning, community two into municipalities, and three into education and human services or education, health resources, something more or less along those lines.
Great. Nice.
And then we're moving to one chairman.
Oh, yes, and one chairman and one co-chair for each committee.
Would that co-chair be considered a vice chair?
Yes, because basically the way it's saying here
Right now, we have
is each standing committee may elect a vice chairperson.
Would we consider maybe instead of having the co-chair, there might be some misunderstandings about who has to attend. If you make it a vice chair, that can, clarify any kind of dynamic there.
I agree. Right, so
I don't understand.
I don't know what you mean. I
he's
don't know.
saying that the way that we have it right now, you have two chairs that are basically of the same equal standing.
Right.
Now, if we make it a chair and then a vice chair for each
Yeah.
committee, then people understand that the chair must be present at each of these committees.
Yeah, and then it would be, if the chair's not there, it's the vice chair's responsibility.
But isn't that, that's always the way it is.
It is, but if you have three co-chairs, you don't.
No, we're not gonna have three co-chairs.
Right.
We're gonna have one chair and one co-chair.
Well, let's just call it vice chair.
Vice chair.
I'm sorry, let me just say this real quick too. The discretion of who is chair in our bylaws is the chairperson, which is you, Clinton. Our bylaws dictate, so you get to name whoever you want as chair
Of the committees,
of the committee.
right?
Yeah, so you don't, and you can pick whoever the vice chair is too.
Right.
That is your discretion as chair.
And you can also pick the committee members.
Yes.
But what George correctly noted, and I hadn't noticed it, everyone's got to be on a committee.
Right.
We can change that. So that would allow Clinton to kick someone off a committee immediately if they're not appearing regularly.
So there isn't any requirement that a board member has to serve on a certain number of committees.
There is. Everyone has to serve all one. But I'm saying that could
One
be,
one in addition to the full board.
Right.
I wouldn't have an objection to empowering Clinton to say, this guy's not showing up to meetings, you can kick him off the committee. He doesn't go to the committee meetings.
So you have to sign that person to something, right?
Well, currently you do. I would change the bylaw and say you don't. They're not participating,
But then they shouldn't be here at all.
Well, but then
That's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be here at all if they're not participating.
Right.
If they're not at least in a committee,
Right.
then they.
Everyone
would
needs to
only
be in a
here to
committee, at
vote.
least one committee.
So is it fair that we should also, because what Luke was saying is incredibly important, we need to look over, what I said before you came in was that we need to see who's just blatantly not showing up.
Right.
So we can weed them from the people that have valid excuses for not being there. But in addition to that, there are people like Dr. Sanders who's not assigned to a committee.
Right.
And that's not Dr. Sanders' fault. You literally have to assign. You are? I thought you said that. Oh, you're on that committee. Okay. So is it, oh, wait, I'm sorry. I conflated two things. Ms. Colleen has just said that there's some people that don't know what committee they're on, right? So, yeah.
I have one question. I know that there has been a lot of talk about compliance with audit and everything. George brought up about having a public hearings committee. Are we still interested in advancing?
Public hearings.
Yeah.
Public hearings committee?
I mean, we already have the public gallery. So what would be the point of public?
Committee one would be having public hearings because they have the Euler. George, am I wrong? What other committee besides committee one would be having public hearings?
Any committee could have a public hearing. For example,
But wouldn't that would generally be a condition of a Euler application, you know?
yeah, but the ULIP application requires a public hearing regardless. But I'm just saying, any committee, for example, FDNY wants to give a presentation on the fire that happened at Livonia, the explosion. So we could make that a public hearing so that could be accessible to everybody. So there are what I didn't mention in the structure that I had proposed some time ago was that we don't have public meetings on a monthly basis, and that is a requirement it's a requirement by the city of New York that we have a general full board meeting and a public hearing. Now, the wrinkle in all this, and you can correct me, but my understanding, and we have proposed this, other community boards have proposed this, I'm offering it to you as something to consider. Our meetings that we have don't have to be public if we have a public, let me take that back. All our meetings have to be public. You do not have to take testimony from the public if you have, for example, a public hearing every month. So the full board continue to have a public gallery session that is required, but if anybody wants to come and testify on bike lanes, bus stops, the fire, anything, you have a public hearing once a month that takes our requirement according to the open meetings law, and that's it. We don't have to. For example, this is an open meeting right now. If somebody from the public wanted to offer testimony, they could. They could say, "I disagree with all of you," whatever. You would in this what I'm proposing, or my understanding of rules and open meeting law, it's not necessarily required, and that's something that some other community boards we've been tossing this around. We've been talking to the borough presidents about this just to make us more efficient. But again, that's just something to consider.
So we're required to have a public hearing once a month?
Yes, and we got dinged on it in our controller's audit, which was done 2 or 3 years ago.
So that has to be separate from our general, right?
Yes, yes.
And it doesn't count, like, let's say somebody wants to complain about a park, it wouldn't count just to have the public testimony
At the meeting.
at the meeting. That doesn't count, that's not good enough.
Yeah. So the rule for the public, according to the city charter, we are required to have a public gallery session at all our general board meetings, which is bizarre because then I'll show you the letter from the controller's office. Many of you may have already seen it.
You know, wouldn't it be nice if they could just take that public hearing requirement, like do a little charter revision, and take that public hearing requirement and allow the community boards to combine it with our meeting? It seems like it's awfully complicated for us to have a public hearing that maybe not a lot of board members would show up to, in addition to.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's the whole purpose of the public gathering.
Maybe one day we can craft together an idea of a revised charter, New York City charter, and send it to the city and say, hey, you should revise the charter instead of having us do the whole duplicative meetings. Anyway.
So it will be just a public hearing on any matter?
At least one per month.
Yeah. You have to give advance warning. You have to give advance notice, I should say, and then you invite people to testify on any subject matter. The way we do it now is that we have it at 6 o'clock rather than 7 o'clock, and then nobody shows up. And just so you know, I think maybe I didn't hear Luke very well. The attendance requirements for public hearings are different. You only need 20% of the board to show up. Now, of course, if we assign board members, then that would be it. But like for our board, 20% of 44 or 45 is 9 people. So when we have our public hearing, we actually have quorum, and then we go to our full board meeting where we don't have quorum because we need 23.
Okay.
Would it be possible to combine the public hearing committees with one of these committees that's already meeting regularly? Like, what if we took the public hearings committee and made it committee 1 on steroids? You know, it's like land use, public hearing, transportation, or whatever. Committee 1, public hearing.
No.
Here's one thing I'm concerned about. When we loaded up the committees, you get people on the committee that aren't necessarily as interested in the subject matter. Okay, so when you load up, someone might be really into transportation, but when we load it up with housing and we load it up with land use, maybe the person's not as interested in the items on that month's agenda.
Yeah.
So for example, I mentioned the members that work on the social media. They're really into it, and you can see the excitement, and it's really fun to watch them present at the board meeting because they're really involved in it, and they're taking care of it. But if you have people working on issues that they're not so into, I'm worried that we're going to lose attendance and not get the level of involvement that we need. So it might, to Lean's suggestion about having another committee or one or two more committees isn't a bad suggestion. I see where that line of thinking is coming from. So if there was a public hearing committee or if there was a committee on social media, I wouldn't have an objection to that. Honestly, Clinton, I defer to you. I mean, you're going to be in charge of this.
I said 5 would be my. Right now, we're talking about 3, but it can go to 5. I mean,
when we have discipline, and then we have bylaws.
Are those ad hoc though? Those need to be
In the bylaws, they're committees.
But are they required to meet every month?
Well, discipline needs a referral. But I'm a member of the. I'm here as the chairman of discipline. That's the reason why I'm on executive. But we only meet when we have a referral for a complaint.
Same thing with the nominating.
Right.
Elections. It's like some of these things
That's
are
it.
seasonal. But to just continuing the conversation about this, I feel like we do this already if we're just calling it something different. We literally have public hearings at every individual committee meeting. We're just not calling them public hearings. We always have different presenters that are keen to the subject matter for that committee. And we invite those people back to the general board so that they possibly give a different presentation to the rest of the board that may have not been able to attend the subject-specific meeting. Okay? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. What I was saying is that we're doing it already. That's what I genuinely feel is that we're doing this part already. We've already absorbed it in each of our committees, where when we want to talk about something that is topic specific to that committee, we have people from the outside come in and they literally present. Or if it's a problem that is pertinent to that specific committee, they come in and bring it to our attention. So it's like we're just doing it, we're just not calling it a public hearing. So what is my main question? Yeah, like my main question, George, is like, do we just simply call it a public? Can we make it a part of the agenda of each committee? Where it's like where we have the public gallery and the general meeting as the very beginning. Can we make I would say the public hearing a part of every agenda of each committee?
Which is,
I will look for the report, but I think, I'm sorry, there's an echo. The short answer is no, you cannot do that. Other community boards tried to do that. The Community Board 12, I tried to make that same argument that our public gallery session is, in essence, a public hearing. The
Right.
controller's office said, no, that's not. You have to have a separate. The charter calls for a public hearing and a public general board meeting. So those are 2 separate meetings. So to satisfy that requirement, we have to have 2 separate meetings. Now, the way we have done it is that, like I said, we do it an hour before. We say, oh, we're going to have a public hearing at 6:30 or whatever on XYZ topic. Many of you may have received an email today from the borough president about a preliminary budget.
yes.
Yeah, so we have to do the same thing. We have to have a public hearing on the mayor's prelim budget. And we have, and then again, this is stuff that I know you're going to talk about it, so I don't want to waste time on it. But the budget priorities, those are all things that we have public hearings on. It doesn't have to be land use.
Okay. All right, Ms. T, what you already said?
Say that last thing again, you said, Joe? The last thing.
You can have a public hearing on anything. It just doesn't have to be on land use. The difference with land use items or ULURP specifically is that you're on a clock. We are obligated by the city planning department to host a public hearing in a number of days. So that is the only difference. But we should, as a matter of course, have public hearing scheduled every month, and we should be designing things for, and we should be like suggesting things for those meetings. We can talk about budget stuff. We can talk about anything, traffic stuff. Anything that's under the sun, we can talk about it at the public hearing. What I'm saying is, if once we do that, we can eliminate public. I'm not saying like eliminate. All our meetings are public. I'm saying it the wrong way. You just don't have to take testimony at meetings
Got it.
at committee meetings because you're satisfying the requirements for public input at the public hearing.
Right. Luke?
Is there a time limit? How long this public hearing has to be? Like, could it be from 6:30 to 7, right before a full board meeting? Like,
That's how we did it when we.
That's how we did it.
okay, so then can we just kind of make that official?
Start at 6.
6? Okay. Is it going to be hard to get people's attendance at 6 though?
I mean, people will be rushing in. There will be some people that live still in the area. For me, for example, I'm coming from the concourse, so I'm not going to get here until at least 6. But I'll be here in the space for anyone that's actually here.
And we have to have 20%, right?
Yep,
Board
that's
members,
it.
of board members. For the
I think it's
public,
30%.
for the public hearing.
No, George said 20%. He said 20%.
20%, right,
So
George?
have to be present for the public hearing.
So it's
So there's
30%.
9 members
30% of the bylaws. You learn.
for public
For
hearing.
you.
For you learn public hearing.
Oh, that's something
You
different.
learn.
I just think it would be too daunting of a task for us to have a whole public hearing committee and a separate day for people to come out
I agree with
again.
that. You know, what would be also nice if the comptroller
Just adding more committees.
who wrote this audit, which is honestly confusing. You know, it's
Thanks.
dozens of pages long, and I don't know about all of you guys, but I haven't read it cover to cover yet. If they could give us some more instruction, like can they come out to our meetings and tell us what their advice is? Because we should request, because we're trying to figure out, and they audited almost all community boards across the city, but they're not giving us any guidance besides this very bulky report, which is hard for a lot of volunteer board members to decipher.
You think if we anchored it with following training, that would help?
Yeah, if they wanted to do a training or something, that would be great. Maybe we should write a letter to the comptroller.
He's actually very friendly, and he actually has a good cadence when he's teaching. So I wouldn't mind sitting on something that he has to say. I also wouldn't mind if the Department of Buildings came back, because I like to play with Legos, and their workshop was actually very informative.
I think that was city plan.
Right? It was.
No, city planning. Yeah.
It was into DOB.
No.
No, it's from city planning.
City plan.
Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Is it possible we can assign someone to do this, or?
Do what?
Put in the request for training.
No, to type up this, I think someone should redline this. Someone needs to redline this, the whole thing, go through the whole thing. I mean, if we have a bylaw, I was just assume that we just
Got it now.
go now, go right to the committee, or go right to the general board this month, and then we have to put it on for a vote for the following month. I think we should redline this agreement, and someone should make a proposal and type it up and have it ready for presentation at the end of the month. We can get feedback like Antonia suggested.
You're saying redline it just for the committee structure stuff?
For the committee structure stuff and anything, like some of these things affect other areas. So we have inconsistencies all over these bylaws, where one thing doesn't really make sense in light of other changes that we've made. Someone needs to kind of go through it and just make sure it makes sense.
Yes, we do have a bylaw.
I mean, we can go.
I don't know if she's capable.
I'd be willing to volunteer to help. I don't think I can tackle all of the nuances myself.
It's Carla. Carla was.
Right?
She had
So it's
the files.
Carla, Ms. Tyler, Ms. Tolene, and who else? For the bylaws committee.
You have it on the sheet?
Again, if you're going, we don't have, just so you guys understand.
Hold on, I don't mind.
Sorry,
Hold
George,
on.
we can't hear you.
Say, George, say it again.
I said, just so I understand that you're saying that we have an ad hoc, we don't have an ad hoc bylaws committee. This is the same, we go through this every year. If you want to take this to a bylaws committee, to take Bobby's suggestion, you want somebody to redline this, you want to take this to bylaws committee so they can study this, then you have to you have to create an ad hoc bylaws committee. And again, you as the chair get to appoint whoever you want to it. One of the problems that we had in the past is that Carla Basadi, one of our bylaws says that you cannot chair two committees. Carl Stricker, Carla Basadi, both chaired two committees. Their answer to that argument was that those were ad hoc committees and therefore not real committees. So again, we have plenty of brand new board members that are itching to get involved and be a part of things. And instead of reappointing people that have already been doing this for a very long time, maybe you should engage brand new board members to look at these things and tackle these problems.
I agree. What's up?
And the thing is, Clinton, this is exec. You can do this to Bobby's suggestion, all in exec. This doesn't have to go to the bylaws committee because it doesn't exist. The rules on our bylaws state that any ad hoc committee has to be reinstated on a yearly basis.
Wait. Where's that? Because I see that a special committee can be created. I was just looking at it.
Yeah.
It says it's
I have to find it myself.
Section 5, Article 6, Section 5. The board may, by means of resolution, establish a special committee as it may deem necessary and or advisable. Any special committee shall have and may exercise powers as may be granted to it. Such resolution may provide for the composition, the method in selecting a chair, its length of existence, and other matters. So if we, by special committee, created a disciplinary committee or a bylaws committee, I mean, my view would be it's still a committee.
No,
unless
you have
it's
to keep
determined by the
reading.
terms of the resolution. Go ahead.
You have to keep reading. A special committee without a specified term of existence shall be deemed discontinued and terminated immediately following the annual community board elections next succeeding its creation, unless said special committee is specifically continued either by a resolution of the community board or by public declaration of the community board or by a public declaration of the newly elected chairperson of the community board, which declaration must be recorded in the community board's minutes.
Right. So we need to know what the original resolution stated.
So, question: How about this? How about we make a motion tonight from the executive committee to form a bylaws committee per our bylaws. We vote on the bylaws committee creation on at full board, and one of the things that the bylaws committee, the newly formed bylaws committee, could consider is striking that whole sentence that says that the bylaws committee shall be terminated after each year, and it seems to create a lot of extra procedure that we might not necessarily need if we want to be, timely in making some of these changes to comply with all of these things.
The bylaws committee understands.
Yeah, let's make that let's consider, I would make a motion today at this executive committee to create a bylaws committee per our current bylaws to review and evaluate and redline our bylaws. So I would like to make that motion, and then maybe we can vote on it at full board, just so we're all copacetic with our bylaws.
I like the proposal, but I want to move this thing along. Like you're talking about forming a bylaws committee, amending the bylaw, and then it's in March we get to vote on that bylaws committee creation, and then we're meeting in April, and then we're talking about a change in May.
Can't we vote on the bylaws committee in February, and then the bylaws committee meets in March, and then March we have the red line version for March full board.
A change to the bylaws would be voted on in March. With this, it says committees,
Feels like our bylaws really.
it says the board we can establish a bylaws committee as a special committee.
Let's do that.
That's what it would have to be, as a special committee, to meet immediately. And then the special committee would, vote bylaw. But again, I'm in favor of just moving this in front of the general board. Like, I think we got enough smart people here that we can come up with something. I think we're all on the same page. And call the sick. I mean,
I don't think we're asking for a whole overhaul of the bylaws.
That's George's view, yeah.
Wait, I didn't hear you, Clinton. What'd you say?
What's here?
Saying that's what it says. Technically, Paula was the bylaws committee. She's no longer the bylaws because
It basically becomes inactive once it's done.
after the board election next,
Okay.
following the annual board elections, next seating is creation.
So we have to.
Unless the special committee is specifically continued by either resolution of the, by public declaration of the board, or by public declaration of the newly elected person.
So it dissolves
Which
itself.
is
Right.
So
Same thing with the
so we
nominating.
have to make
The
it.
nominating committee.
So should we do that tonight? Should we make
Yes.
the special bylaws committee tonight? Can we do that?
I say yes.
Or does the full board need to
You
vote
say
on that?
make the bylaws committee today
Yes.
and appoint the chair tonight.
Right.
Yes.
So the chair would have to be one of the 8 people that's in.
Well, not necessarily. It doesn't say anything about not allowing people who aren't in the room to be on the chair, on the committee. So,
It says the board may, by means of a resolution, the board may. So we
Yes.
can't establish it tonight. We'd have
we have to
to,
propose it at least.
we could propose it, we could ask for a vote at the board meeting to establish a special committee. And then the special committee would meet in March and report back to at the end of March for the general board meeting. And then the changes would be voted on
In April.
in April.
Could we appoint, we do the motion and appoint at the same time in February?
He can appoint. He can appoint
So that
whenever
way
he
we'll
wants.
at least know who they're working with on the market.
So what we might consider is making taking a vote tonight on what we do agree to. Maybe we need some internal discussion to figure out who's the chair and who's on the committee, but let's make a recommendation as the executive committee to the full board that we take a vote tonight for a special committee. And we'll figure out who's the chair after we meet offline to talk about it. But I would like to maybe vote on that tonight so it's officially coming from the executive committee that we want to create a special bylaws committee. For
Okay, so
February.
you're calling for a motion?
Yeah, I would like to make that motion that for the establishment of a special bylaws committee to be voted on
At the
In-
February
at the
meeting.
February by means of resolution.
I second the motion.
Seconded by Tony. Are there any nays? Any recusals? Any abstentions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record show that it was unanimously
Okay, so-
accepted.
This vote is for, what was the vote again?
It was for the special bylaws committee.
One step at a time.
I know we need this.
Because we want to make changes to the bylaws.
We all have red lines.
No vote. So we finished with that? Everyone, anybody have anything else? Anybody online have anything on that?
I just have a name.
Go for it.
I'm good online. I'm good online.
Thank you, Darrell. Jerry?
I had a name. I look on Chat GPT. Community Connections Committee. How's that?
For three?
For 3, community.
That's really nice.
Huh?
Community connection.
Yeah, like.
Because it's education, health, it's library services.
And it also goes with the handle. The Instagram handle.
And it goes with the
BxCB12.
social media.
Say it again.
Very good.
Community Connection Committee.
It's a suggestion. We can call it CCC.
Community connection.
Look at John's
Great idea.
No.
Okay, so we covered bylaws,
Right, the attendance.
attendance. Okay. You want to do him, the budget priorities, or you want me to go to the next budget report?
That is for, that's gonna be real quick.
Well-
Who's gonna write it?
I mean,
But you need a letter.
no, letters of support.
Like, basically, some groups come to us and they want to let us support either for renaming, like for Beyond Plastics, things like this, support of legislation they're putting forward. Beyond Plastics actually gave me a template of a letter that they've been using for a while.
Yeah, I've got some pretty well.
Nice connections. All right, we're just trying to confirm who's actually going to write the letter. Is that a job by the chair or is that a job by the district manager? Before, the district manager used to do it as not even necessarily a courtesy, but a task, right, George? That if we asked you to do a letter of support, then the chair would review it and then it would be submitted. And basically
I'm
that.
sorry.
So now we're going on to the next step in the agenda about letters of support. So we're just trying to make a distinction about who's actually responsible for this. So let's say someone comes to us and they want a letter of support. We all agree, yay, happy, happy, joy, joy. But when it comes down to it, if we ask you to write it, will you be able to write it and then the chair approves it? Or would you like the chair to only write the letters and submit?
Well, you want to say it, George? Or I'm going to say what we discussed. What it is that we, from what I understand, we took a vote
Right.
back in, what was that, March or April?
Yeah, March, I believe the old agenda said.
That the chair, that chair of that time said that they were going to write all letters of support and take it away from George. But we voted for that, but I don't see the vote. That's
In the minutes?
it's not in the minutes. I mean, I haven't seen it. I asked George for it. He said he was gonna watch
We
the
don't have
video.
But we don't have minutes from that meeting.
We have the recordings.
We don't have minutes for about 8 months worth of meetings last year.
But there's a recording, right?
There is a
I
recording.
only saw it on the agenda.
All right.
I never saw it on as us taking a vote.
Could have been a discussion.
I do believe it was a discussion. I don't
I don't
remember
know-
us.
I don't remember that
anyone
as a vote.
voting. Yeah,
I don't-
I don't remember us blatantly saying the district manager no longer can write letters of support. I do not remember anything to that effect of last year.
Now, I'll pull it. It's on our website. Let's see. Meetings, agenda.
Wait, George, real quick, Sherry had a question. Is it that we
Okay.
don't have minutes from the last 8 months or we don't have minutes from the last 8 meetings from last year?
We are missing minutes from, I'll tell you right now. So just to answer the agenda question, Chair of Community Board 12 will be responsible for writing of resolutions and letters of support, etc. That was number 6 on the agenda for March of 2025. We have minutes for May, April, and January. We don't have minutes for anything else.
It's on the agenda, doesn't mean it's the
That's what I
opinion.
said. I said it's on the agenda, but I don't see the vote.
Yeah, it doesn't,
I need to see this vote.
people can put a lot of stuff on the
Right.
agenda. It has to be voted on for it to be a policy.
Right. And that's why I asked for the vote.
Well, let's just take a poll real quick. Does anyone have any objections to George reassuming this responsibility if asked? No, right?
I think that if
Yeah.
there's dialogue of like, you know, making sure, I don't know, the chair looks at it, or the person responsible looks at it before it goes out, you know, gets the okay, but yeah, I don't have any objection, but did you hear that, Glenn?
Yeah, you're
if
just
you,
saying
like-
that we need to carry on with the protocol.
I'm supposed to sign.
Yeah, you're supposed to sign it, yeah. So, yeah, as long as you're, you know, looking at it before you sign it, that should be fine, no objection here.
Anybody else have any objection to it?
Well, let me just clarify that too. I wasn't signing them. I signed many of them because our chair was not available, and these are timely. So letters have to go out, and my letters, as Luke has seen, because they do go to the chairs of the committees that request them, you know, they go to the members and they say, hey, this is what the letter looks like. If you have any objection, they also go to whoever's requesting the letter for any revisions if they have any objections to the letter, because generally those letters go to city agencies. But again, everybody sees it. The problem was that, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that went unsigned, but they would sit on a desk unsigned for a very long time. So, you know, that's why, I don't know what happened. She took it over, and that was it. That was the end of it. So I have
George,
no objection to resuming the responsibility. I had no objection to it being taken away from me either. But
okay, George, all you got to do is all you got to do is call me. I'll come here on the train after work and sign whatever needs to be signed.
no, I got you.
So,
I'm just saying I don't want the responsibility, especially when it was written in the agenda. And if you remember, because I remember the March meeting, we had the presentation from the City Council Land Use Division, and that meeting itself was about 3.5 hours. And so there was a lot of things that were said, and a lot of stuff that was tabled. Ursula and I tried to look at April and May's meetings to see if maybe they were voted on then. We have not been able to find it, but you know, we're still looking. But that still doesn't minutes that are outstanding. But again, I have no objection to writing it. I just don't want it to be seen like this was something that I didn't ask for this. Our previous chair did. So now, again, if you want it to be done, I'll do it again. I have no objection.
thank you. Previous chair is gone.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. I'm telling the truth.
So out of fairness, we do have some templates already made for some of the letters of recommendation,
Yes.
I didn't
right?
hear you.
We do have some templates already made. I'm sorry, I'm gonna speak like this from then.
Because I'm trying to hear you and I'm like this and she can't.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, going forward, we will include George when necessary for letters of recommendation. Like, for example, yes, letter of support. Right? For example, right now, Beyond Plastics, they already gave us their letter. I already read their letter, it's good. If Luke's letter is better than their letter, I would actually go with Luke's letter, right? If it's not better than Luke's letter, we'll go with their letter. It's still gonna go in front of George and Clinton. And then the last person's eyes that will see it will be Clinton. Everybody good?
Good.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Thank you. All right. Budget priority. Anybody online have anything about that? About the letters of support? Okay.
Ask Terry. Terry can text me.
Terry?
Hi, sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. No, I don't have anything to suggest, but
Thank you.
thank you.
Anthony? Sheila?
Might be more people.
There's more people.
Yeah.
Hi, Anne. Thank you for being here. You coming from the public?
Hello, yes, I'm coming from the public. And
Awesome.
I've been, yeah, well, I got invited to this, so thank you so much for inviting me. I've been kind of working with you, Ursula, for a while now. I'm from the New York City Public Service Retirees and looking for letters of support from all the community boards. I just got one last week from Staten Island to support because they don't, the city wants to push us all into Medicare Advantage just to, right. And I think I've spoken in front of this community board before, and I'd be happy to do it again. And I'd love to meet, love to meet the chairperson, assistant chairperson, whomever of your Human Resources Health Committee. Because I think by working with them, with at least one person, that we can move this. So hi, thank you for welcoming me.
Okay, Ursula has your information.
Yes, she does. Ursula is very pragmatic and always, like, I love what I see from coming out of your office from your board in terms of correspondence.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Ursula.
Ursula's great. Ursula's great.
She is. She is. Looking forward to working with you guys.
Same here.
Okay, and one of our board members, Luke, has a question for you.
Of course.
Hi, I was just wondering if there is a template for a letter of support.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I'd be curious to look at that. If you wouldn't mind sending it to the board office, I'm sure Ursula could, I don't know, distribute that template just for FYI.
Of course, I have good sample letters of support and also resolutions. And the resolutions are really great because the way they're worded, basically it's like a broader scope. So it's like not only support, but it's also other community boards in the Bronx, for example, that you want to build, to come aboard also. But I'll be happy to send both of them, really good reso sample and a really good letter of support.
Thank you.
All right, Ursula, I will send that to you tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we're gonna move on.
We need the missing minute dates from George. That's Ann attested. And which order?
No. Which about that?
Oh,
She's on 2 lines.
Yeah.
No, we're trying to find out. Not you, Ann. Sorry.
Okay.
Who is on the phone at 917 number ending in 75? (917) number ending in 75. You identify yourself? It's not called.
No.
we'll circle back.
Okay. Cell phone number ending in 75. Phone number ending in 75. We just need you identify yourself.
Yep.
Next up on the agenda is budget priorities.
All right. So this is a quick. Well, actually, I'm going to make a motion as well, following loop of that for the next general meeting. We actually get a check-in on what our budget priorities are, where we are with what we submitted last year. So I know that you received funding for some of the parks that were considered capital projects. You don't have to all them off the top of your head, but if anyone standing out to you right now, give us an update.
Sure. So this is a couple of years ago. But Renzi Playground, a few years ago, we put on as our capital upgrade at 225th Street, between 225th and 226th. This a teacher from the public school right over there asked for a revamp, and we put it in the budget priorities list. And then when City of Yes passed, Councilmember Riley advocated to include that budget priority as to be funded with the City of Yes passage. So it passed, and Renzi Playground was awarded $19.8 million, which is great. And we've done some on-the-ground outreach to families. We set up a table this past summer to ask what do people want. We did this with Partnership for Parks, and a lot of people said that they want a dog run, more space, more water features, basketball courts. So, but that funding's in progress. It takes a few years for those projects to get built, though.
Just looking at the number, 19.8 million, right? Is it enough to cover what was requested already?
I think it's a good start.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I can do a lot with $19.8 million. I sure hope they can.
All right. Another one, just thinking off the top of my head, was funding for Dr. Banks's program. We did ask initially for 50,000, and then I think we upped it a wee bit to like 500,000. Right. So we need to get an understanding from Councilman Riley and Councilman Dinowitz's office how much money they're willing to chip in, because basically this money would be allocated to giving people a living stipend. So meaning people will be able to go to the program. The program is how long it's taking?
2 weeks.
A few weeks, right? I believe it's somewhere in the ballpark of like 6 weeks. But with this stipend, you wouldn't have to be concerned about paying for your travel fare and your living costs. You would have all the time in the world to genuinely concentrate on being an amazing lab technician, which is the thing that we need. Shameless plug, the starting salary for people that complete this program along with job placement is in the realm of $56,000 a year. That is awesome. So if you know anyone that has a BA, and it doesn't have to be something centered in the medical field, just a Bachelor of Arts degree, and they're looking to make a pivot into the medical industry, this is an excellent way to do so. So I know that I will definitely be following up with the councilman's office to see where the money is for this wonderful program. Another one was expansion of the library, like Edenwald Library, to get a second story. Of course, that's going to be something in several steps, and that's also something that the Councilman Riley's office was looking to champion as well. Right, so basically, it looks like the main issue that we pointed out from our budget priorities from last year, everyone was talking about lighting. There wasn't a single thing where there was covered from safety, the parks, the education, that didn't include an addendum of we need additional lighting. So again, that would be a follow with the Borough President's Office as well as our City Council.
They were also looking for
Right. You want to talk about the STEAM hub? Go for it.
that was it. So
and also money for the STEAM hub
District 11.
at the District 11.
Question about Edenwald Library. If they were to build a second floor, would they be required to put in a new elevator?
Sure.
Yeah, because they have to be accessible.
What do you think about this? They're doing this in a couple other places, actually in the Bronx, where they build a few floors of housing, and it gives NYPL a little bit more investment in their property, gives housing to the neighborhood, and it makes it so that if you're already putting in an elevator, at least go up a few floors and use it, because it's a big capital expense to put in a new elevator. Right. And if you can
make it worth their while.
Yeah, do a couple floors of housing on top of the library. It might make it.
Right. Well, now our question.
It's already in the works.
Nice. Right. Our other question is back to zoning. Because remember, some of these places only zone for commercial, some of them only zone for like cultural things. If it's a mixed use lot or zone, then possibly we could think about those type of add-ons to address the housing issue. But I think it's more or less like this is city property. Last time I checked, it's already said fitted to be a library. We're already in full effect of going into the second story. I think this is another thing that's being championed by Councilman Riley's office. But that is a good idea, a good suggestion. I wish they would have did that with that laundromat that's across the street from Evander Childs High School. Mm-hmm. Right.
Wish they did what?
I wish they would have made it like a mixed use building. I honestly feel yes. For just laundry, it's like no, we could have actually gone downstairs. Like we have no idea what is the depth of it.
At least they have a parking. At least they have a parking lot.
Oh yeah, that part. And they had a parking lot. It's like you could have put in like a small health office as well as something else along with a laundromat as opposed to just being a laundromat. That's who you'd be surprised. People love those things, especially when they see the vans driving around and it's like the
But if they were to do like housing over the library, I understand the zoning and everything, but they could get a variance, right?
Well, it's an R4 right now, so they can do it. You know, the library's a community facility.
Right.
R4. I'm looking at something right now.
Okay.
That allows.
Wait. Oops. Say that on the mic, please, so people at home know what
This is in R4, so you're allowed, I think even 3 floors of housing.
on top of a business.
I mean, on top of a community facility. I don't know if community facilities count as businesses, but.
So what a community facility is, I mean, any commercial building could have a community facility in the basement, or so if that was a condition of its certificate of occupancy and it has a community facility designation, that building can become a four-story residence, and that's exactly what happened in Woodlawn. And the people were going nuts over in Woodlawn because they built a 4-story apartment building on Van Cortlandt Park East in 238th Street right there. They knocked down the trees next to that medical building, but because there was a community designation in the original certificate of occupancy, it was an exception to the R4A zoning review. It's R4A zoning.
Yeah.
So is it fair if we make a motion to bring this back to the full board's attention so that all the individual committees this affects can revise the budget priorities if needed? Right. So we had a fairly large list, but very concise list of budget priorities for CB12 from last year that was made from all of the committees as well as input from the community itself. More or less, everything is in the works. Literally, everything that we're talking about right now is in the works at some point, but I want to get a better understanding of how much progress has been made. So I'm making a motion that we bring this forward or as a part of the agenda for the next full board meeting on February 26th, that the individual committees also make it a part of their committee meetings to identify new budget priorities. Right, as well as the progress of the ones that we put in from last year. So that way we're not double dipping.
So there's a whole process for these budget priorities review. I've attended a couple of these meetings, various points in the last different capacities. But as George will tell you, there's a moment where it takes the city a long time to review all of these budget priorities, and they will respond directly to every single priority. And some say, "Hey, this is not possible. Hey, consult this other agency. Hey, we'll consider it." Stuff like that. And then they have consultations where George attends, and the chair or somebody designated by the chair attends from the community board, and you ask the fire department straight up, like, hey, how many fire trucks do you need? You know, is this something that we should advocate for more? You can ask questions about your budget priorities, clarify different things you might have listed. So there is a process, and I know George and Ursula do communicate out. I think October is around the time where you kind of we have to get those resolutions of budget priorities in so that the next term, but it's great to start thinking about it now. But there might be something already kind of in the works, but it's like a slow motion process going through all of this stuff.
Okay.
Yep. So just making a motion that we bring this back to the forefront for our next general membership meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm making a motion that we bring back our budget priorities to the forefront of our next general meeting on February 26th. May I have a second? Second. Thank you.
Are there any abstentions, recusals?
Somebody second.
Oh, Sherry. I second.
I'm sorry.
Any abstentions, recusals, nay? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And second was,
Dr. Sherry Shivers. Sherry Samuels. Somebody talking about me.
I'm not at work.
okay, everybody, A to everyone? Well, my last, anybody online have anything?
Nothing.
That's it. Okay, so my last agenda item is just, as I always like to express,
It was a thumb like this going down.
That was the cursor, computer cursor.
right there.
No, it was a yellow thumb going
Okay, but they
down.
removed it. If they did it,
We just kept going.
I don't see anybody with a thumbs down. Anybody see a thumbs down?
Not now.
They must have took it down. Maybe they did it on mistake.
I put a thumbs down to say I didn't have anything. That's the best side.
Thank you, Daryl.
I was totally about to kill all
Totally. Totally ready to fight.
She ready to fight. I'm like, it was
Thanks, Daryl. So my last agenda item is board member community participation, and I say this probably at every meeting, every time, that I just want to see board members out in the community, engage the community. We have 222nd Street Block Association. They're trying to return. It was canceled out a couple of months ago by the chair at that time, and she ended it. Now they're trying to bring it back again. They were supposed to have a meeting, I believe, tomorrow. They were supposed to have a meeting here tomorrow, but they want to meet in person so they can see people because they're trying to put together an executive committee to restart their 222nd Street Block Association. But the meeting was canceled. I got the email. The meeting was canceled for tomorrow. But 47 Precinct Council meeting, it's good to see faces from Community Board 12 there. And then, in the summer, it's good to see people out, National Night Out. Just try to be present in the community so people can know who the community board members are, who's on the board. That's my big thing. No, I understand. I say it every time.
But I think with the media, been more out there, and
they're doing a wonderful.
They're doing really good because I've seen it pop up on Instagram and stuff. So it's
Are we on TikTok yet?
I told Alpha, I did tell Alpha, I said, I think you should add that to it. So, I mean, we didn't speak at length about it, but I told him.
Think about getting back
But that's why I just think that committee participation thing. It's just good to go to meetings and see some of us there. That's all. Just good. It's good. But we attend the 27. And like I said, 222. I've been going to them for a couple of years, and then it went defunct earlier. I mean, last year. Now they're trying to bring it back because they're basically like really the only block association in it.
No, I have mine. I'm Harper Avenue Block Association. Because what happened was we had Pat Wiley, Patricia Wiley was our president, and she had passed. And so now we have Mr. Brown, and he wasn't able to do it. So we have it, and they want to start it back up. But we used to do a lot in our block.
Right.
We used to have like the Halloween parade for kids. We used to have a block party a huge block party. Everything was done. We used to have, we used to come for the night out. Pat Riley do the, what was it? The council meeting, 47th precinct. So we did a lot. We even had a street named after her. Our block is renamed after her. Yeah.
There is also JW's block.
But are they active?
Yes.
What do they do? When is their meeting? That's what I mean.
Okay. What I wanted to say
222
is,
puts it out there. They send it to Ursula. Ursula sends the email out. So
I know.
that's what I'm saying. If they're not doing that, how are we supposed to know?
I've been asked about something for seniors or teenagers. Because they say we don't have anything particularly for seniors. So I don't know if we can incorporate that in there some way.
They need to engage with the community board to let us know. So, I mean, everybody doesn't have to go to everything, but, you know, one or two can pop in, or 3 or 4, whatever, at this meeting. Some go to this meeting, some go to that meeting, some go to this event, some go to that event. You know,
Yeah, they mentioned
there's
it.
lots of, you know, Kevin Riley has a plethora of events all the time. It's good to see some of us show up to the he probably has more events than anybody. Than any of the elected officials. Well, he does a lot of Corp City. He does a lot of the YMCA.
At the
YMCA. But that's it. That's all I have on that. I just say it every time. That's one of my things.
I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Thank you all.
Motion passes.